Good afternoon, Washington, D.C. We are all here today to say that in the name of humanity, we declare our independence from Trump's fascist America. This is the truth, our truth, that we are speaking today loudly and boldly in our nation's capital. But what does it mean? What does it mean for us to do this? What we are saying today, in the same way that the signers of the Declaration of Independence said on July 4th, 1776, is that this government does not represent us, and we are declaring our independence from it. This government does not represent us because Trump and his regime are fascists. And we, you and I, and everyone who agrees with us, are not fascists. Rather, we are citizens of the United States of America. We hold on to and are willing to fight for the highest ideals of our Constitution. And most importantly, and most basically, we are human beings. And we stand with all humanity. And we are committed to defending the dignity and worth of every person in our nation and around the world. These are heavy words, because these are heavy times. How many of you are angry about the state of our nation at the moment? How many of you are sad and overwhelmed about where we find ourselves in these times? How many of you are afraid of what Trump and his fascists are doing to people and are afraid about what it will take to remove Trump and his fascist regime from office?
I'm not fucking afraid of him.
Angry, sad, overwhelmed, afraid, all negative emotions and all very normal given what is happening in our country right now. We see squads of masked men taking people off the streets. We see our police and our military being deployed against our fellow Americans to execute the policies of a fascist. We see our Supreme Court doing the bidding of a fascist and stripping away the rights of Americans and threatening the very foundation of the rule of law.
Shame!
We see a Congress that on one side of the aisle has bent the knee to Trump and the fascists, and on the other side of the aisle has shown themselves wildly incapable of meeting the moment in which we find ourselves. We see our government in lockstep with a genocidal regime that is slaughtering and starving the children of Gaza. And today we are about to see a bill signed into law that will devastate the poor, the working class, and the middle class, while it wildly enriches the 1%, the oligarchs, and the transnational corporations. A bill that will provide the funding to build infrastructure for concentration camps here in the United States. A bill that will strip away fundamental protections for our fellow citizens, like their health care and food security. Given all of these, the feelings that we have of anger, sadness, overwhelm, fear, they are understandable, again, and they are totally normal. But we cannot allow ourselves to remain in those feelings. We must each find the courage within the deepest part of ourselves to stand up, to speak out, to put our bodies on the line, and to demand the Trump fascist regime must go now. This is not going to be easy. As I have been listening to people, both in real life and online, it is very obvious that people are locked into their fearful reactions, and they're at a loss for what to do. What we in the Refuse Fascism movement are asking you to do is to stand up, to join us, and to fight. To join us in a massive grassroots movement of nonviolent resistance. This can and must take a number of forms: street protests, labor strikes, nonviolent civil disobedience, taking action after action with relentless ferocity until Trump and his regime are removed from power. I see many people, particularly current elected officials, who are talking about messaging tactics and how to win elections in 2026. What we are saying is that if we do not act now to remove Trump from power and the consolidation of power that we're seeing under his fascist regime, there will not be free and fair elections in 2026. We also see far too many people looking to these same elected officials to lead the fight that we will need to wage. With the exception of a very small group here on Capitol Hill and in state and local offices around the country, our current elected officials are not fighters, and they are not prepared to meet this moment. The wisdom and tactics that we will need to push Trump from office will come from activists. Seasoned activists who have experience in fighting grassroots battles that have brought about social, political, and economic change. If you'll allow me, I'd like to share with you how I became so deeply committed to fighting for justice. And I share this because it will be our stories, not statistics, not data points, not the analysis of a bill. It will be our stories of shared humanity that will connect us with the millions and millions of people that we will need to be in the streets to remove this regime. So back in 1997, I was a professional soccer player and an assistant coach at St. John's University in New York City. At the time, we were the NCAA Division I defending national champions, best team in the country. While I was coaching, I was also doing a graduate degree in theology. And I started to write a paper about the Nike Corporation in light of what's called Catholic social teaching. And what I found was, if you wanted to pick a company that completely violated everything that, at the time, the largest Catholic university in the country claimed to stand for, Nike was it. And at the same time that I'm studying this over in theology, over in athletics, we are negotiating a $3.5 million endorsement deal with Nike, part of which I would have to wear and promote Nike's products. I tried for a year behind the scenes to negotiate myself out of that deal and to have the university not enter it. Eventually I went public and things exploded. And then I was given an ultimatum: you will wear Nike and drop this or get out. I held my ground. I was forced to resign, became the first and I'm still the only athlete in the world to say no to Nike because of their sweatshop abuses. For those of you that are in my age demographic, we remember when that was a massive issue. And I started getting invited to college campuses to talk about it. And in those early lectures, I would have those neoliberal market fundamentalists telling me, "You don't know what you're talking about. Those are great jobs for those poor people. What else would they be doing? They can live like a king on $1 a day over there. They should be thankful Nike's even giving them a job." Now, I knew from my research they were wrong. The competitive athlete in me wanted to prove them wrong. So 25 years ago this month, I moved to a slum outside of the capital of Jakarta, Indonesia, and went to go live with Nike factory workers. I tried to survive on their wages for a month. It was $1.25 a day. I lost 25 pounds that month, sleeping on a cement floor with rats and cockroaches. And I met the mostly young women who made the clothes and shoes that I wore for my entire athletic and coaching career. And I promised them, I will go home and I will tell you stories. And I thought I was going to do like a 6-week speaking tour. I ended up being on the road the first year for 7 months, speaking at more than 80 schools. I then founded a nonprofit organization to do that work. I did it full time for 15 years, traveling around the United States, back and forth to Indonesia, waging massive fights and winning massive battles. Until eventually in 2014, after marching through the streets of Jakarta with my comrades, the Nike factory workers, I was picked up by the immigration police, arrested, detained, questioned for 2 days, had my passport taken, put under city arrest, and was eventually deported and banned from the country. I share this with you because these are the types of things that each one of us will need to be prepared to do. The types of sacrifices that we will need to take. Right? I came face to face with the transnational corporate power, literally face to face with an oligarch and Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. Came face to face with how those powers organize to suppress dissent and push back against liberation movements. I lost my job. I was pushed out of professional soccer. I had my apartment broken into. I had my computer stolen. I received threats on the phone and in emails. I was tailed by Secret Service in Indonesia and private investigators here in the United States. At one point, a Nike manager in Indonesia gave the green light on an attack on me, and my van was hijacked, my driver was beaten in front of me, and I was on my knees in a dump next to a Nike factory with a guy standing over me with a sword saying, "If you come back here, we will kill you." Again, I share all of this to say, this ain't my first rodeo. And to hopefully give each and every one of you courage, despite everything I just shared, I'm still here. Of course I had fears. Of course I was angry. Of course I was sad. Of course at times I felt overwhelmed. But I did not allow myself to stay trapped in those negative emotions. This is what any seasoned activist will tell you. Many have stories that make what I just shared seem tame in comparison. But what we have in common is that we took and continue to take action despite our fears. And it is through this taking of action that we develop greater and greater courage to meet the moments that we will face as we move forward. And this is what we in the Refuse Fascism movement are asking everyone who is here today, who is watching and listening at home, that you will need to do. The greatest weapon that fascists like Trump have is people succumbing to their fears. What is a fascist? At their core, they're a frightened bully. And once you realize this, once you see the fascist for who they truly are, you will overcome your fears and it will unleash your deepest power. Now, to be sure, once your power gets unleashed, they're not just going to go away. They will fight back. They will continue their attempts to consolidate power. They will continue their attempts to marginalize and silence us. They will do what fascists do. But we will not relent. To paraphrase Mahatma Gandhi, they may arrest us. They may jail us. They may beat us. But they will not have our allegiance and they will not take our dignity. Because today, each one of us, you and I, has declared our independence from Trump's fascist America, and we are committing to righteous and relentless, nonviolent action to beat back the forces of fascism and to reclaim our nation. We will reclaim it in the spirit of those revolutionaries who put their signatures on the Declaration of Independence and with the shared and sacred beliefs of theirs and ours. that all women and men are created equal, and that all humanity is deserving of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I will say again, and I ask you to repeat after me, in the name of humanity,
In the name of humanity,
we declare our independence
we declare our independence
from Trump's fascist America.
from Trump's fascist America.
Thank you very much. Have a